People even complain that we don't celebrate Father's Day as much in Ghana.
Everyone was so excited. They're like, when can we watch this? When we're, like we want to see this. With this one, I know everyone has been very aggressive. Like I've gotten very aggressive messages saying,
Wow.
Gene, what are you doing?
This is not just myself. This is Gene, myself, Cassette. We sat down and thought, how do we raise the bar? How do we, do something different and get people's attention?
In terms of what to expect, I mean, oh God.
When did you decide that this was something you wanted to pursue as a career? What really inspired the making of this film? What is the obsession with cassettes? Do we have something else for this year? Why YouTube?
Gene. But like I said, we just really want to show people that, we are not like them. They are not like us.
They not like us.
Gwabna, my dear grandson, the most important lesson I can pass on to you is that everything passes.
Oh, Papa, Papa, you bless me, you clothe me. The lessons you taught to I never go ever forget.
Are you ready?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Filmmakers Conversation. I'm sure from the title of the video you've seen who I'm going to be interviewing today. It's all about Paapa's life lessons, the film that is out now from the Creative Inc. It's a collaboration between Creative Inc. and Cassette Ghana. And I have two individuals here who are key role players in the film. We have here Ginedu, the director, writer, overall filmmaker, and then we also have here Jeremiah, who did some little creative work in there, but he's mostly the executive producer. We're going to check out their bios, and when we come back, we'll go straight into it, so stay tuned. Ginedu is an award-winning film director, writer, and producer. He's a self-taught writer-director who made a bold switch from a career in banking to film. His films, TV episodes, and music videos have garnered a number of national awards and international recognition over the past few years. His creative vision and leadership has fronted projects within Ghana, Nigeria, and the United States of America. His experience cuts across mediums, having done work in film, fashion, television, commercial advertising, and music. Jeremiah Kofi-Sam has roots in both Britain and Ghana and commenced his postgraduate journey at Brunel University in 2008. He triumphantly graduated with a degree in multimedia technology and design. His impressive career in the hospitality industry stretches over 2 decades, with a significant 15 years spent in high-ranking management roles. His expertise has been instrumental in the development and establishment of the esteemed Bob Ricard brand and its associated entities. In addition to his professional pursuits, Jeremiah is an avid hobbyist photographer. He also serves as the CEO and creative director of Cassette Productions, an emerging film production company based in Ghana. The mission of Cassette Productions is to elevate the standards of filmmaking in Ghana and to inspire a new generation of artists. All right, you've heard it all, you've seen it all. These two gurus, the big men, are here in the seats today. We're going to be talking to them about Paapa's life lesson. But before we talk about that project, we're going to go into, their past, how they got into this creative space. And I'll start with Ginedu, who's the director of this film. Welcome, Ginedu, and thank you so much for joining. And Jeremiah, also thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, AJ.
Thank
Such
you,
a pleasure
Alice.
to be here. Thank you for having us. I'm really excited, so let's get into it.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all mine. So I'll first start with the journey to filmmaking and how it was for you. When did you decide that this was something you wanted to pursue as a career and then, just go into filmmaking full time?
Yeah, I think from a very early age, I was always into film. Like right from when I was a child, I was always obsessed with movies. You know, I was the kind of kid that would always be indoors watching movies. That was my thing. So it was probably when I was in my teenage years when, you know, like DVDs became a thing. And, you know, back in the day, like DVDs had like director's commentary and behind the scenes featurettes and stuff like that. So I remember being very interested in how things were made. You know, I was always curious about how movies were made. So I was always excited to have the DVDs that had those features on them, and I would sit for hours just dissecting and watching and listening. You know, after watching the movie, I would, you know, turn on the director's commentary while and then listen to, you know, the stories from behind the scenes or how the scene was like composed or all these little things about how films were made. So I always had that interest and always had a dream of becoming a filmmaker. But you know, in Ghana, it's never seen as a viable career option when you want to make films. You know, there's always been a bit of a stigma around that. But it wasn't until I was a bit older, after I'd done all the quote unquote necessary things, you know, finished my school and stuff like that, that I decided to pursue it professionally. And you know, it was a tough decision, you know, because I knew it was such a big risk, but I really wanted to see what it would be like committing my life to something that I was very passionate about. So that is when I made that decision. And you know, I think I'm 9 years this year into after my very first short film. So it's been a journey.
That's been a journey, and you really achieved a lot so far throughout your journey. Directing some amazing music videos, short films, and now we have Papa's life lessons. After, I would say it was a haters from you because we haven't seen a short film project from you, even though we saw Otan recently, which is Sakodia's music video. Congrats on that because it was a really beautiful music video. But
Thank you.
throughout throughout your
Thank
journey,
you.
leading up to becoming this filmmaker, were there some pushbacks from people around you in terms of family, seeing as you were making such a huge leap or just taking a different path altogether? What was the reaction around from people around you?
Yeah, I mean, in university, I studied banking and finance, you know, and that was what I was, you know, supposed to be doing. So it was a big pivot to go from that to entertainment or filmmaking, you know, and so yeah, naturally there was some concern, you know, family was very concerned, you know, like what are you doing, you know, but obviously all that comes from a place of love and you know, just wanting what they believe is best for you and, you know, them thinking they do like know what is best for you. But I think I stood my ground because I also had a vision for myself and I was very confident. I was foolishly confident, you know, in what I thought I could do. So I mean, naturally everyone thought I was losing my mind, and in the beginning they didn't see the vision, but I think you know, after however many years, I've been able to prove to them that you know it was worth the effort. So now I have everyone's full support and understanding.
You become a household name, so I'm sure already if you're a household name in
Yeah.
Ghana, then in your house you've already taken the whole house.
I
But then
know,
yeah,
I know. I remember taking my when I won the music award, the video award. I remember going to my dad's house and putting it in his living room, and he's very proud of it. He's always excited to have it there. He shows all his friends and stuff, so we're good, we're fine.
that's awesome. And now I'll come to Jeremiah. I really dug and dug and dug, trying my best to find some information about you. It was really, it was looking for a pin in a haystack. I was just looking and looking. I just couldn't find any information about you. And I think it's an intentional decision. But today we're going to find out about you. So tell us, how did you become Jeremiah Kofi-Sam, this person who is now working on films and being in this creative scene as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a conscious decision not to have, a lot of paper trail. I'm terrible with social media. You can probably see from my my Instagram handles and things that I need to probably find someone to handle that for me. So if there's anybody out there looking for a job in, managing social handles, come holler at me, okay? Yeah, just like Gene, I think we both sort of love film, and I certainly had a for film way back when, and just the fascination in seeing, pictures moving and how do they do that and what goes behind the scenes and all the things. And sometimes, there aren't any, you don't want to reveal the magic. You still want to appreciate it and things like that, but you still want to be a student of the game and things like that. So I went to uni and I studied multimedia technology and design, and it was all multifaceted. So a bit of web design, a bit of photography, a bit of film and things like that. And I came out thinking, right, now what do I do with my life? At the time I was working in restaurants and hospitality just to pay my way through university. And I had to make a decision to either continue the path of, restaurants where I'm sort of comfortable, I've made a nice career out of it and things, or do I follow my passion and go into film and start pretty much from scratch? And a little inside trick. So inside information. I did, and then I'm sure you didn't dig hard enough because I have a short film out on YouTube somewhere. Right.
Oh,
And I'm not
wow,
going to give you the
interesting.
title. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll find
And that
it.
was my final year. Yes, good luck. That was my final year project. And I remember it almost killed me, and that's where I feel that, I was trying to do everything myself, the scoring, the editing, the production and everything. And I was just like, I hated it. And I fell out of love of film because I was just like, this is so hard, but I still want to do it. So it's probably the reason why I set up Cassette and the reason why I like to partner and collaborate with like-minded people that, also see the vision, and it just makes it easy for us to then, move forward, because trying to do everything yourself, trust me, it's hard. And you probably can do it, but I don't think you'd be doing yourself justice or the art, justice. Sometimes you just get the best people in that space, or that you can afford, or that are around you, and you work on something, and believe me not, but you just get the best out of it. So that's where I am. I'm still a new kid on the block. Cassette, it's probably not even 5 years old. We're still new, and this is the first short that we've actually produced, and it's looking good. It's looking really good. Thanks, Gene.
You're welcome.
Now, speaking of cassettes, let me just pick something right here. Speaking of cassettes, guys, this was the lovely invite for the private screening of Paapa's Life Lessons. I must say I was really impressed by the invites because it was really a cassette, and it had all these interesting tracks written on there. I was like, how do I listen to this? So I had to hunt down a friend of mine who has record player with a vinyl and all of that, with the 2 cassette players. And then I listened to it and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a very immersive experience. So I would say kudos to the team for putting this together. But then I would like to ask Jeremiah, what is the obsession with cassettes? Why is your company called Cassette? Why did you make the invites cassettes? Tell me.
Lots of questions. I guess look, Cassette holds a very dear place in my heart. I love how Gene's talking about CDs, sort of puts them in a time frame, and I talk about cassettes, that's a whole new generation, isn't it? So you can see
No, I'm
how
also from the cassette. Sorry to cut you, but let's be clear. I'm also from the cassette era. I'm also from the cassette era.
You didn't have sort of director's cuts and things like that on cassettes or VHS back then, but I get what you mean. So that's my introduction to film. VHS. My father had these big sort of JVC camcorders, and he just loved to shoot home video for no reason. It's a shame that I probably don't have access to those tapes, but I'm sure there'll be just a whole load of nonsense on it. And he was so proud of those things, and he loves his tech. And there was just something about, just holding a physical tape, and it's not virtual. Now everything is just digital. It doesn't really exist. You can buy it today, and then tomorrow they can take it down, and then you don't even own that piece of data or whatever it is, or the cloud service goes down. So there's something about the physical tape, and I think the significance around it is also me taking people back to the arts, taking it back to the essence of what film is and things like that. So that whole nostalgia, looking at the creative space and bringing it back, like Alice, we've had separate conversations about the film scene in Ghana and how it was thriving back then, and now it's sort of it's there, but it's not as polished as it used to be, believe it or not. So I think Cassette gives me some sort of grounding and makes me feel that, look, this is where we started. This is the genesis kind of thing, and where do we move from here? Pretty much, yeah, that's it. That's the reason why we have Cassette.
And then we like it. So I'm going to get a cassette player and just have it there, because I have a feeling that this is not going to be the only one I'll receive, in weeks and months.
Yeah,
and
I think that's gonna be our hallmark now. I think this is not just myself. This is Jean, myself, Cassette. We sat down and thought, how do we raise the bar? How do we do something different and get people's attention? Because like I said, I'm the new kid on the block. No one's really going to pay attention to me. If I sent this without Jean's name on it, I guess nobody would have even showed up to the screening. So we just really wanted to gather people's attention, and we felt that, look, having something like that, and we went above and beyond trying to even acquire those tapes. It was we had to ship them from the UK because you can't get blank cassettes in Ghana, and then having to record each and every one of those invitations literally by hand, so I had to listen to those audios. How many tracks is it? Like 8 tracks, about 150 times, and yeah, it's about 60 to 70 man hours of recording, but it was well worth it. But like I said, we just really want to show people that we are not like them, they are not like us.
They not like us.
Very different. And then we want to really make sure that we set the bar, and we set it really high. But look, if anybody wants to copy, it's quite flattering. But that's our thing now. Anytime you see a cassette as an invitation, that's our thing.
Well, we know who did it first. So even if anyone decides to take the concept, we already know it's Cassette and the Creative Inc. So I'd like 100%. I would like to know, where did the two of you meet? How did you meet? Because these are two completely different stories. Where is the merger? Where did we see the merger between the Cassette GH and also Creative Inc.? So any of you can take this.
Jeremiah, go ahead and take it.
All right, I'll take it. So I heard of Jean when I was still back in London, and I was a big fan of his work, as you know, and lots of it was through music videos. So I was watching these Sina Soul music videos, and I was like, wow, this is such a refreshing take on music videos. Even like globally, it's like it has a little story at the beginning and things like that. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I was like, who's this lady making all of these, great music videos? So I was like, I really need to meet this person. So fast forward maybe a year or so, and I was speaking with GH Movie Freak, Tony and Nkrumah, and we were thinking about, Ghana MovieCon 2022, and guess who pops up on stage? Is Jean. And I was like, huh. I was a bit disappointed. I was like, it's not a lady, it's a guy, but fine, we would take it like that. And he spoke about the industry, about his journey and things like that, and I was just literally so fascinated with the work that he produced. And he sort of stepped outside into the sort of foyer auditorium, and I followed him. He was taking photos, and I probably pissed him off because it looked like he was quite busy doing something. I'm coming, oh, I'm a fan, and I'm sure you get it all the time, G, And then shook his hand, took his details. And then I literally begged Tony to sort of link us up, and he managed to make the connection and the introduction, and yeah, the rest is history, really.
That's interesting. Um, we're still talking about Papa's life lessons, and the film is out on YouTube at the Creative Inc. Visit their YouTube channel and watch the film. Believe me, it's something that you don't want to miss, especially as Father's Day is here. It's Father's Day season, and even beyond Father's Day, if you're watching this in July, August, in 10 years from now, the film is definitely going to be relevant. So I would say you should definitely click the link and watch the film. It'll be in the description box, but only after this video. Don't go now, only after this video, because you're going to get into the inspiration. So first of all, I asked Jean, what was the inspiration for the film? And so where do you get the idea? Because you mentioned something about your grandfather just briefly while you were speaking about yourself, but I'd like to know what really inspired the making of this film.
Um, hmm. So it really was inspired by just me taking a break from everything, just me stepping away from like, I feel like there was a period where I had a bit of a burnout from, working so much and, like just being really like ambitious with my work. And like, again, like in our industry, like I was saying before, there isn't a lot of infrastructure holding it together. So when you're chasing like certain, like working on a certain level and like trying to do certain things, it gets really difficult and you can burn out from just all the stress. So I was definitely in a period where I was stressed and I was a bit burned out, and I decided to take a break and just start taking care of myself better. And I'm an overthinker generally. I would, if you can't tell from my work, like I overthink every single little bit of everything. So I was just really just thinking a lot, thinking about life, thinking about ambition, thinking about where I've come from and my family, my friends, and I just was trying to inspire myself and motivate myself to keep going. So I decided to sort of put those thoughts in a script, as I often do. Like whenever I'm feeling something, I'm like, how can I translate that into text or into screen or a visual or something? So it was very funny enough. It was very easy to write. It was one of those things that it just started coming out. In the beginning, like when the ideas are in your head, it's a bit, it's a bit of a mess. But once I actually felt like I had a way in and I sat down to write it, the story, everything, I don't know where it came from, but it came so easy. And yeah, so it was inspired by life and just me thinking about one particular conversation I had with my grandfather before I went off to secondary school. And I just remember meeting him, and then he was like, just make sure you're having a good time. Whatever you're doing, just make sure you're present and make sure, because this is your time, this is your time to enjoy life. So make sure that you are present and make sure you are enjoying yourself. So like that, I feel like that didn't make sense to me until I was a lot older, because again, I'm very type A. I'm always chasing like things and trying to get things done, and so like just relaxing or just actually stopping, sometimes just even on set, just drinking water. It's something that I realize, it's the end of the day, I haven't eaten, I haven't drank water, so I take myself for granted a lot, because I'm working, or I think I'm trying to achieve something. I never like would stop and make sure that the person, my health is in a good place, or my mind is in a good place. So I'm the type of person that I would go, 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 and crash and burn, and then rest, and then get up and go, 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 and crash and burn. And that's not a good way to live. So this was me basically reminding myself to be good to myself. Yeah, that's where the whole inspiration came from.
I'm sure a lot of the people who are watching this, creatives or not, can relate to it. We are just in a,
Yeah,
it's like an unending loop of activities that we still need to, especially with the
exactly.
current state of the world. I won't say just the economy, but the world. Everybody is just trying
Yeah,
to
the
change
world.
something.
Yeah,
So, oh, that's
absolutely. Yeah.
well, yeah. Then the film is definitely timely, and I really hope that whoever is watching right now will take the time out to watch the film. Now, Jeremiah, I'd like to know your contribution to the film as executive producer. Most of the time, we hear about the director's contribution, actors, and all of that. We hardly do hear, what the contribution of the executive producer is in the pre-production stages when you're conceptualizing, putting down ideas, and all of that. What role did you play in all of this?
As Jean mentioned, I think a lot of Papa's life lessons were loosely based around, his father figures and his life and things. So I think the story was already developed. It was one of the last things that we decided to work on. We had a whole batch of features and shorts that we're even still working on. I think we may touch on that for future projects, but Papa's life lessons was one of the last things and probably the easiest out of the lot, if you believe it or not. And we were just like, well, let's see the synergy between TCI and Cassette, see how we can actually work together. So rather than working tirelessly on a big project and then getting halfway and thinking, you know what, I can't stand you, because it's like it's a relationship, really. You sort of need to go through the highs and lows. But I think with this project, I just didn't want to step on Gene's toes whatsoever. I just feel that with creators, you just need to give them full autonomy and trust the process. So we discussed it, and a lot of the time when I first read the script, I didn't get it, so I was like, I was like, okay, Gene, so it's grandfather and grandson or son, where's the son? Where's, and I was still so many questions, but he was so passionate about it. And then you can just see the excitement in his eyes that I was like, you know what? You go off and make this project because I don't think anybody else will be able to tell the story but you. So I wouldn't want to even get involved in it. I don't think Sika, the producer, she didn't want to get like not get involved in that sense, but we didn't want to sort of dirty or muddy the process. We said, look, Gene, take your time, and that's what it was. It was a project where we had the luxury of time. We didn't want to sort of do anything. So my contribution was literally even how long is it, Gene? Probably like a 30-second scene where I sort of directed, and that was the only thing that I did. And again, a little small story about that. I wasn't even planning to. I don't think it was scripted, or the idea was for me to direct that scene. So I was pacing up and down, trying to whip everyone into shape and whatever. And I think Gene was taking his break, probably one of Papa's life lessons. So he's taking a break. And then he's like, Jeremiah, can you just sort out the blocking with these guys? And I was like, huh? I was like, what do you mean, can I do the blocking? I was like, no, this is you, Gene. Because Gene says he's an overthinker. I'm an extreme overthinker. I need to plan these things for days, if not months, So I'm just standing there thinking, okay, and then I think you see in the behind the scenes, I even turned my hat back. That's how serious I was. I was like, I need to focus. I was like, right, this is my opportunity. This is the moment I've always been waiting for. And I hope I did it justice, Gene.
No, I love that scene. It's literally my favorite scene. And there's a bit of a story, if you don't mind me telling it, behind that scene. So we're talking about the kitchen scenes. Now the kitchen scenes are easily my favorite. The performances there, after we shot those scenes, literally the crew were applauding. So those kitchen scenes, to me, they say so much. Everything from like the way they are composed, it tells a story. Now the thing about this film that I really love is like, outside of the narration and everything, like each shot, even the colors of their clothes or the choices, each choice is intentional. And so like there's so much storytelling with even like the music, and even the composition of the shots. Like that shot in particular is the kitchen shot with the father figures and grandma in the back holding the tray. I feel like that shot is it tells so much about our culture, African culture or West African culture, Ghanaian culture. Like that, in the composition alone of that shot, There's so much storytelling there. And throughout the film, you have moments like that. But the thing I wanted to say about that shot in particular, and why I have grown to love it more, even outside the fact that Jeremiah directed that, is that it's a funny story. So like just a couple of weeks ago, I actually posted this on Instagram. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a group chat with my cousins, and I was like, "Yo, you guys, do you have any photos of Grandpa that you would like to share?" Because there was one particular image in my mind that a photo of him that I remembered, and I was like, I would like to see, but I couldn't find it. So everyone started sending in the pictures that they had of him, and there was one particular photo which I had never seen before, right? And it's a photo of my grandfather and his friends, three of his friends, and they're sitting at a table and they have beer bottles in front of them and they're just chilling. He's much younger. And I was just like, holy cow. I texted Jeremiah immediately. I was like, look at this. And he was like, you can't make this stuff up. It was the
You can't make
craziest
it up.
thing because it's literally it's without grandma in the back, it's literally the shot in the film, even to right down to where my grandpa was seated. And it's so crazy the number of men, because we had scripted it and we had found references, and the day of we made some adjustments, but it's so crazy how that shot matches the photograph, and I have never in my life seen that photograph before. So it was such a weird and crazy thing, but it also felt really special to me because it was like, oh my god, I'm not even like a superstitious person, but I'm like, is grandpa telling me something, So I mean
The universe has aligned.
already that was my favorite. It was my favorite scene. It was my favorite shot. So it was like such a big moment for me, and I love that shot. So I feel like that is like that shot to me is what cinema is, because if you put it on mute or if you freeze frame it, it says so much, and I love it.
Absolutely, and we love it too. I personally enjoyed watching the film. Every scene had, a story to tell, and the music. Who was responsible for the music for the film?
So the music of the film is by an artist, a number of artists, but the production was done by an artist called Tamate. So I worked closely with him because so it was a funny process. So one thing I did as soon as we had the script and we had decided to make the film was that I recorded myself doing the entire film on my phone, doing all the like narration, the voices. So I literally recorded myself, and Tamate is a friend of mine, so I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, I want like I hear these particular sounds, and there's a feeling that I want to convey with every section of the film." So then I hit him up and I was like, "This is what I'm hearing here," and then he will play a chord or he will play something, and then I'll be like, okay, I hear a drop here. I need a drop here for emphasis or something like that. So it was really fun, like literally. So I'm actually credited as a producer myself which is like
Okay.
not my first producer credit, but it's really exciting. I feel like I'm fully immersed in the music industry now. But yeah, no, we worked closely over several months, and there's an artist from Kenya called Wendy K who's on it. Of course, S the legend is on it. She does the Dear Paapa song. We work with so many incredible people who like. I love how the music supports the dialogue, and it creates certain moods for every section, and it matches the visuals so beautifully. And my editor once described it as it. Watching this film feels like floating, and I was like, oh my god, that's the best description I've ever heard of the film. So Tamate, absolutely incredible. I mean, that's the music on the cassette. It's very immersive. It really pulls you in. It's very calming, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
I completely agree. And yeah, just a quick reminder, if you're hearing all these things, you just can't skip watching the movie. You can't. It's not possible. It's not. Guys, it's in the description. Hit the link and watch the film. Now, one big question that I had, from the private screening, we had a Q&A session. I contributed by saying that I really loved the angle that the film took, because we have a lot of films that show, from the woman's perspective, mostly the female's point of view, where it's like an estranged or connected relationship with another female in her family, or the detached relationships. It's mostly from that perspective. But this one is refreshing because people even complain that we don't celebrate Father's Day as much in Ghana. It's mostly about Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And so it's a thing. And so this particular film was very refreshing to see a different perspective. So I'll say that again. And also another big question was the reason why this film is going on YouTube. I mean, we're on YouTube right now, so I'm not to say that YouTube is not the platform for the film. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that, one would think with all the work that went to the film, budgets wise, details would definitely go to on a festival route. So why YouTube?
Gene?
I think. Listen, I made a film a few years ago, right? And first of all, I've made a couple of short films. I've been entered festivals, and but I remember making Little Problems, right? And being so excited, and I put out the teaser on Twitter and on social media, and everyone was so excited. They're like, "When can we watch this? When we're, like, we want to see this, blah 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 blah." And then, we were still like working out distribution, so we got a distribution deal that ended up like holding the film for quite a long period.
Mm.
And I would literally be getting messages from people saying, "Where is the film?" With the trailer, like, "Oh, where is the film? Where can we watch it?" Blah 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 blah. And I myself, right, I'm a fan of film. I see all these short films. People have made short films, and they post about it, and you're excited. You're like, "Ooh, this looks good." You see the trailer, you're like, "This looks really good. I want to see it." And they're like, "Oh, it's in this festival," or you see it made it to this festival, that festival, over a long period, sometimes years, right?
Mhm.
And then you don't see the film. And then by the time it's on whichever, it comes on, whether YouTube or it's on some network or something, it's like you're tired, So, I mean, that's one thing. That's one reason. I feel like we were all so excited about the film and we want people to see the film. But from the very beginning, we didn't make this film with the intention of like doing like a festival tour or, especially with how personal it is and, the kind of story it is. We really wanted it to be a gift for people. And it was very important to us that it was accessible to anyone who wants to see it. Like having that immediate access, I think, is something that, we felt like with this particular film, we want people to have it and we want people to be able to watch it. And we are excited and we're proud of it. And we want we want everyone to share in the moment of the film, So with this one, I know everyone has been very aggressive. Like I've gotten very aggressive messages saying,
Wow.
"Gene,
Death
what
threats.
are you doing? Why you take it off YouTube? That is a bad move. This, that." But I feel like the more people say it, the more I feel like, maybe we are like making the right decision. Because I mean, as much as I would love to do festivals, and I'm sure we would probably put it in a few festivals, which would still allow us to, after screening it publicly, down the line, of course we want that. But this wasn't like a big, a film that we thought, we weren't even trying to like flex on the film or trying to be like, let's show what we can do. Those films are coming. But this was really a labor of like love, and it was really just to make something positive and put it out there in the world. Jeremiah, your take?
That's absolutely correct. I think, this was never, we never filmed this to gain back return on investment or anything. It was literally to showcase our talent, and well, Gene's talent and the art, and then to give something back to the creative space and to set the bar again, and like you said, Gene has been on a hiatus, why hide a film from the public after so long? Just let people enjoy, and the reception has been so positive already, and I've sent it to some friends abroad, and they all love it. They all absolutely love it. And you just think, well, the whole festival circuit can take years or even longer, and you just think, well, let's just move on to the next one. And like Jean said, there are things that we're working on that will just really, really blow your mind. This is just literally nothing, hence the reason why we decided to work on this. So you can call it a vanity project, just a little something to while away the time, but we just don't want to sit on it any longer. We really want to get to work on the next thing. So doing festivals just, it does take a lot of time and, dedication to fill up forms and things like that. Again, if there's anybody out there looking for a job to fill up forms for festivals, please holla. Cassette_GH, drop me a DM, and then maybe we can reconsider doing the festivals. But I think as it stands, we really want to put on, get as many eyeballs on this film as possible.
Yes, and YouTube is that platform, because I'm sure a lot of people would love to see the film. And yeah, I've been seeing the comments on social media. When are we seeing it? When are we seeing it? And yeah, it's here now. So go check it out. Definitely enjoy. And so I did a thing where I put out that anyone who had any questions should ask. So this is going to be exclusively for those on Patreon. I'm sorry. If you're not on Patreon, this doesn't go for you. Sorry. That's why you need to join Patreon. Click the link. Click the link in the description and go on Patreon to see this particular excerpt of the interview. And yeah, you get to see some of the questions that were asked.
Much later.
So we're done with the exclusive bits. We're going back to the regular folks. So just kidding. But yeah, to wrap this interview up, I'll just like to say thank you again for the time. I also like to say thank you to Tony Nkrumah. He is the one who connected me with Jeremiah in the first place. That's how come I think. Yeah.
Tony, we're gonna have a GH Movie Con 2025, so you guys get your tickets, get ready for it. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, excited. I'm already excited. I can't wait for that. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk more about that some other time. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. But before we go, I'll just like to ask final words, if there's anything you'd like to say, and then also what to anticipate in the future from Cassette GH and the Creative Inc., whether it's collaboratively or individually.
Final words.
Gene, go for it.
Yeah. Final words. Go watch Paapa's Life Lessons if you haven't already. And I'm curious to know what everyone thinks after they've watched it. So you can hit me up on Instagram, respectfully, please. Hit me up on Instagram and tell me, what you thought, whether you loved it, if you didn't like it, if some of the lessons hit you, how it impacted you, if it didn't. I enjoy talking about films, and I enjoy having a dialogue about films. So watch it and let me know what you think. In terms of what to expect, I mean, oh God, I'm so excited. Like, I feel like if I start, I will say too much. So we can't really talk about the projects that we're working on, but we're working.
Gene doesn't like to talk about his projects anymore.
I don't know. I don't like that. Mystery. Until it's done, I don't like to talk about it. But I will say that I am very, very, very excited about the things that we have prepared. Like last year, we are seeing Paapa's Life Lessons, but we've really been working together for a couple of years now. And I feel like we're in our harvest season where people are going to see the things that we've been working on. So it's like we have so much stuff prepared that we're about to, embark on. And I'm really, really, really excited. If you thought Paapa's Life Lessons was good, then you have no idea what is coming.
Excited.
Yes. So for me, I just feel that, the creative space is still in its infancy. I would really want us to start talking, having more conversations. And look, thank you so much, Alice, for creating this platform for people to then share and listen and talk about the creative space. And you know, we're still discovering so much talent. You know, we spoke about it yesterday on the radio show, and we just feel that there's so much more that, you know, the acting scene needs to give. And, you know, just hit us up, send us some reels or whatever, you know. There's no such thing as a bad performance. There's a space for everybody. And, you know, also people on the other side of the camera as well. You know, we want to see who are the next colorists. We want to see who are the next cinematographers and things like that. And we know that people are honing their skills now with TikTok and, you know, the reels that people are doing. You know, these kids are doing great things. And we just feel that, you know, we or even Cassette, I would like to create a platform where people can, you know, express their creativeness. So, you know, hit me up for a job or just to talk at Cassette_GH, and let's see what we can do. But in terms of future projects, yeah, there is so many in the bag. I you know, we have comedy, we have biopics, we have what's it, thrillers, dramas, you know, take your pick. Whatever. We really want to sort of raise the bar in all genres and then see what, you know, people can do. But the reason why I created Cassette and the reason why I partnered with Gene was literally that, you know, let's set the standard, you know, let's bring Ghana back up again, you know. So, you know, all directors, you know, use Papa's life lessons as a benchmark. Talking big
Yeah.
now, sorry.
Whoa, those are fighting words.
I know, right? I
You
know.
said it, not me.
I mean it from a good place. It's
Oh
all
yeah,
love.
yeah.
Healthy
I
competition
agree.
doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. And I agree that the film is definitely something that, you know, it's setting the bar high. I mean, if this is just going on YouTube, you know, and it's not really something that they said they put a lot of work in, my people, you don't know what's coming at you. And even myself, I'm so excited to just see the projects coming up in the coming months, years. Do we have something else for this year?
We'll see.
Possibly.
We'll see.
I think the two of you have just decided
Possibly.
not to say anything. But anyway, we're anticipating amazing projects from Cassette and the Creative Inc. Thank you so much for your time. I know how busy your schedules are.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
taking time out of your
No, thank you,
schedules
Alice.
to be here today. And yeah, guys, like I've been saying all through the interview, hit the description box. The link is there. Watch the movie. And believe me, you're going to want to watch it over and over. I even want to watch it a second and third and fourth time. So I'm also excited for its release. And I probably have already done that by the time you're watching this. So yeah, thank you again. And I'll play the trailer again so you can enjoy it one more time. And don't forget that this is AJ for short. This is something that we do. We're going to keep coming your way with more exciting interviews with amazing individuals who are doing the Lord's work, putting Ghana, Africa, you know, on the map everywhere. And I will see you in our next video. Till then, it's bye.
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 Gwabna, my dear grandson, the most important lesson I can pass on to you is that everything passes.
Oh, Papa, Papa, you bless me, you clothe me. The lessons you taught, I never go ever forget.